Dak Prescott, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, got engaged in 2024 shortly after signing a massive $240 million contract. The kind of financial shift changes the legal landscape of a relationship overnight. What really ends high-profile relationships? Is it betrayal or business disagreements? In the case of Dak Prescott and his former fiancée, Sarah Jane Ramos, headlines point to infidelity, but behind the scenes, there's another conversation, one that applies to everyone, not just celebrities. What happens when love meets money and no one agrees on how to protect it? Dak Prescott, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, got engaged in 2024 shortly after signing a massive $240 million contract. The kind of financial shift changes the legal landscape of a relationship overnight. Now, reports suggest that the breakup may have involved allegations of ongoing infidelity and speculation around disagreements over a prenuptial agreement. While Ramos has publicly denied that a prenup dispute caused the split, the conversation itself is important because it highlights a reality many couples avoid until it's too late. Let's be clear. Prenups don't end relationships. Misalignment does. A prenuptial agreement is not about expecting divorce. It's about defining financial expectations, protecting pre-existing assets, and clarifying how wealth accumulated during the marriage will be treated in high net worth situations like Prescott's. A prenup isn't optional. It's standard risk management. But here's where it gets complicated. A prenup forces couples to answer uncomfortable questions. What happens if this ends? What is fair versus equal? Who is protecting what and why? And if those conversations aren't aligned, the prenup becomes symbolic of something deeper: trust, power, and control issues. The media often focuses on infidelity because it's emotional and headline driven. But in legal practice, financial disagreements are just as significant, if not more so. Here's the reality. Infidelity may damage trust, but financial incompatibility can destabilize the foundation of a relationship. In many cases, both issues do tend to coexist. One partner feels emotionally disconnected, the other becomes more protective financially, and the relationship starts operating more like a negotiation and a partnership. It's easy to look at $240 million contract and think that doesn't apply to me, but it does. Whether you are a professional athlete, a business owner, a government employee, or building your own savings over time. And we tell our clients all the time, prenups are for everyone. We all come into a relationship bringing something. Maybe it's a couch. Maybe it's a car, maybe it's an expensive watch. We all bring something to the table, and if it was there before the relationship, it makes sense to protect it. You have something worth protecting. A prenup is not about wealth level, it's about clarity on how things are going to be managed going forward. Because without an agreement, the law decides how assets are divided, and that decision may not reflect your intentions or your reality. In Ontario, prenuptial agreements fall under domestic contracts. They can address property division, spousal support, financial responsibilities as well, but they must meet strict criteria. Full financial disclosure, no coercion or pressure. Independent legal advice. If not properly executed, they can be challenged and potentially set aside. If you take one thing from this story, let it be this: the conversation is more important than the contract. Before signing anything, couples should be transparent about their finances early, align on values, not just numbers, treat the prenup as a planning tool, not a threat, because a strong agreement doesn't weaken a relationship, it strengthens it by removing uncertainty. And people struggle sometimes with prenuptial agreements. They used to think, not so much as much anymore, though it still exists. They think somehow it diminishes the romance, or it affects the romance or the authenticity of a relationship. And as a divorce lawyer, I couldn't disagree more. My point of view is, if you put a prenup in front of someone that's fairly written and they balk at signing it, that's a red flag. What's their real motivation here? What is it they in fact do love? Is it you, or is it your assets or the money? These are serious discussions that need to be had with your potential partner. And Dak Prescott situation, that may play out in the headlines, but the lesson is universal. Love is emotional. Marriage is legal. And if you don't define the terms of a relationship, someone else will.